This is Sophie, the food blogger behind A Kitchen in Uganda, and what you're listening to is our new podcast called Our Food Stories, a podcast where we as a community share food stories from our past that have raised and sustained our ancestors and eventually ourselves. Episode 6. When you think about your career, who or what inspired it? I never say this enough, but my love for food and exploring it was inspired by my father, who at an early age would create the most interesting meals and food pairings. Today's guest walks us through a much-loved dish that was prepared by his mother, which eventually went on to inspire him to pursue a career in the culinary industry. I know you will enjoy listening to this one.
This is Douglas Lumala. My ethnicity group or tribe is I am a Uganda by tribe, and I'm from the central region, that is Luganda, that is in Mukono. The landscape of my region, it's not mountainous. It is kind of simple, easy, and the climate is favorable for growth and plantation of any kind of food crop. It's good for farming. It is good for growing cocoa, profitable for such crops as coffee, banana plantations. I'm a chef, so passionate about food, cookery, and adventurous about all kinds of foods. I like cooking, I like food specifically. The story I would like to share will be a story that is from my childhood. And this story is actually the kind of story that caused me to be so passionate about food and cookery and other stuff. It's a story about my mother. She used to prepare us this dinner every time we were about to break into the Christmas seasons. And I really, really loved this kind of food, the way she prepared it and how she was cooking it for us. We usually liked it so much. Me and my brothers and my sister, we have a humble family of 4 people. But she usually prepared this food during the late November to December, and we enjoyed it so much. It is something she used to call stuffed pumpkin rice. This is a type of meal she usually prepared for us, and as we were kids, and we loved it so much. This is pumpkin. It is called Nsujju in our local language, Nsujju, that she used to prepare it for us every time we were having dinner, mostly on Sundays evenings, because also my dad loved it so much. She used to prepare it so well, and I used to watch her every time she could prepare this. And actually, this is one of the things that actually motivated me to becoming a chef, to being a person so passionate about food. Now, to prepare this kind of meal, you have to be having all these things listed in my list. You have to be having Nsujju, that is pumpkin. You have to be having banana leaves, that is Ndagala in our local language. You have to be having the Luwombo leaves. Luwombo leaves, I don't know how I can put it in a language that everyone can understand, but this is a kind of a banana leaf that is coming out of the banana plantation, which is not too grown up. It is slightly, not too much grown up, but slight growing up, coming out. So this banana leaf, this luwombo, is got out of that not fully grown up banana leaf, and then it is steamed a little bit. And after being steamed a little bit, then it is the one into which this pumpkin is put. It is called the Luwombo in our local language. So I don't know how I could put it basically in English, but it is called the Luwombo. So you have to be with salt, omunyo, green pepper, onion. You have to be having rice, because actually she prepared this stuffed pumpkin rice, and this rice is prepared inside the pumpkin. And you have to be having the meat, because she usually puts some meat which is cut into pieces, ng'obunyama buno babusazesaze mu bufi obutonotono, which is threaded pieces. You have to be having some spring onions, you have to be having some garlic, you have to be having some banana fibers. Now, banana fibers in our local language called Ebyaayi, and these are the fibers that we usually traditionally in our ethnic group or in our tribe, it is so vital. Like it is you to prepare matoke, it's into which matoke is being put, then we put it into a saucepan to cook it. So these fibers, they help you to lift it up, to lift the food or any food that is being put into it for preparing, as in traditionally. So now to prepare this dish, first of all, you have to be having a whole pumpkin, ensujju nga namba, nogisala katini kano akantu akabeerako. You have to cut in any kind of shape. She usually could cut it in a round shape, najjako, to remove this top cover. Then you scoop out the seedlings that are inside the pumpkin. Then after scooping out the seedlings and every dirty thing, you wash it very well with water, which is clean water. Now the top cover that you have cut off, you don't throw it away, because it will be used also to cover back the pumpkin. I hope you're getting me very well. Ejakozesebwa okubikako ensujju in our local language. So ojamu byonna ensigo ezibeera munda, those are the seedlings. Meanwhile, on another side, you're preparing your white rice, plain white rice, but which is half cooked, ojifumbako katono. Then you make sure it is half cooked, because Nsujju in the pumpkin, you're going to recook it again. So you have cook it to make sure that it does not be like porridge inside the pumpkin. So you have cook it. After half cooking it, you set it aside. Then you don't mix the rice, as in you don't put any ingredient in the rice. It is okay, you leave it. Then you have your meat, cut it into pieces. Then after cutting it into pieces, you cook it also aside to make sure that it is not hard. Tesigarange kaluva. So you cook your meat in any favorable style you would like, but this meat should not be with soup. Obatetekedwa kubeeramu supu oba sauce. N'ogifumba bulungi, n'osalasala obutungulu bwo, ka green pepper, ka carrot, n'obispicingamu bulungi. Bw'omala obispicingamu bulungi, n'obitematema, as in n'obispicinga, n'olaba nti ennyama eri thick bulungi. It is not watery, but it is just thick and it is kind of tender. Kubanga bwe tugiteeka mu pumpkin era tugenda kuddamu tugifumbe, because when we put it again in the pumpkin, we will recook it. So after cooking it to your desired tenderness, make sure it is not so tender. It is just slightly tender and non-tender. So in between, because you're going to recook it after you've spiced it up and it is having a good gravy. So ensujju eno gye wamaze okolokotamu ensigo zonna munda, ng'erina ekituli bulungi, nga nnene bulungi, ensujju eteekeddwa okuba nnene. It has to be big in size. And it has to have a big hole inside it, because you have scooped out every seedlings and all the stuff. Now this half-cooked rice, it is the first rice you put in halfway of the pumpkin. Then you add on your meat, also halfway. Make sure it is not too much meat, also halfway. Then again you top up the rice, and then which is slightly small, and then you last with the meat. Then last with the meat, no take a the cover that you had cut off the pumpkin, ensujju eno gye akasanikira kawatemye ku nsujju, nodamu n'okabikka. Then bw'omala okubibikka, ku mabbali oteekeddwa okubaawo n'ekibbo, and as in this is a traditional basket that we usually use to prepare food. The Baganda, hopefully, I think they know it. It is the traditional basket that we use to preparing food. So now this traditional basket, you bring in your fibers of olete Ebyaayi. She could bring in her fibers n'abyala mu bulungi in an X form. Then bw'omala okubyalako in an X form, as in you lay them in this basket, traditional basket, in an X form. Then you put on this Luwombo, that slightly grown banana leaf that you have steamed off, that is steamed, traditionally steamed on fire. Notekamu or Ndagala, you put in that banana leaf that is half cooked. You put in that banana leaf. After putting in that banana leaf, you bring this pumpkin, which is not yet cooked, that you have put in the rice, the meat, and all the stuff that you have prepared very well, and you put it in the middle of this banana basket. Then you cover it inside this Luwombo banana leaf. that have grown banana leaf, and then you tie it with these banana leaves of Ebyaayi bino n'olusiba bulungi n'Ebyaayi bino nti ensujju, this pumpkin is inside, it is inside the banana leaf, and then you tie it very, very well. And after tying it very, very well, aside you'll be having a saucepan. And this saucepan is actually a saucepan we use traditionally. We could lay in sticks that help to make that pumpkin sit on, and then these sticks you lay up some slightly banana leaves, like 3 or 2, and then you put your pumpkin on these banana leaves, and then you pour water, and then you cover very well traditionally. Oba no sanika, you cover very well traditionally. Oba ne tusanika ensujju eno mu ngeri ey'Abaganda, like traditionally in a Baganda way. Remember to always put in water. She could put in water, and then after she could put on a traditional charcoal stove or a choto. This charcoal stove is used by the Baganda traditionally. It is actually not a charcoal stove, it is a fireplace. It is a fireplace, an altar fireplace. It is consistent of 3 stones on a side, then firewood placed in the hose of this side, and then they light it. You could light it up. She could light it up with fire, and then she could make this saucepan into which the pumpkin is put, and then later on she could cook this pumpkin, which is put inside the saucepan, and then it could boil for almost 2 hours or 1.5 hours, basing on the hardness of the pumpkin. And then later on, after 1.5 hours are done, this pumpkin is ready, and it is so tender. Now remember, it is covered with banana leaves, and it is inside also the Luwombo leaf, all tied up with banana fibers, which are called Ebyaayi in our local language. So after all is set and the pumpkin is ready, these banana leaves that were used to tie this pumpkin are the very ones that are used to get hold of this pumpkin, which is now cooked and ready in a luwombo. That is the kind of little grown banana leaf, this luwombo. And then these banana leaves are the ones that are used to carry as support of carrying out this pumpkin into the direct position where it is supposed to be. Now she could transfer it from the saucepan again into this traditional basket. I told you we call it Ekibbo. And then she will transfer it on the dining table. Now all the stuff is prepared, and she could use a table knife to cut it into pieces. The rice and the meat inside the pumpkin smells perfectly well, and it is so yummy. This is the kind of dinner she usually prepared us from our childhood, and we could all eat and eat and eat, and we could not cease to eat because the food is so tasty and it is so nice, and it is wow. It is the kind of food that we usually like. We usually like to eat and to taste.
I am sure we have learned a thing or two from this recollection, and if you want to make the dish, Chef Douglas walks us through the process. If you are looking for a chef to cater your next event, Chef Douglas does outside catering and can be reached on this number, +256 788 047 036. I will also be linking more Luwombo making videos in the episode description. Be sure to check them out. If you enjoy these stories and you have a delicious food story you would love to share or know someone that does, don't hesitate to reach out to me via email at akitcheninuganda@gmail.com or Instagram at akitcheninuganda. See you in the next episode.